Hello and welcome back to Grandpa's Time. I'm Grandpa, and I hope you're enjoying this channel. Grandkids, I hope some of my grandkids, or at least one of my grandkids, is watching. Anybody else is watching, thanks to you too. This video is going to be a video on scouting, kind of scouting and like what to look for in the woods. So I'm not an expert. I know a few things, and I'll try to pass along to you guys, you know, kind of some of the stuff that I look for. Mostly in pictures. We'll do pictures, and then come spring, I'll get out a little more. Anyway, here we go. I decided to make this first scouting video about deer identification. I'll be discussing 3 species of deer: whitetail, mule deer, and blacktail. I'll be using either pictures I took or pictures from my trail cameras as examples. All 3 deer species get pregnant in the fall, usually between the end of October and mid-December, and generally they're pregnant for about 200 days. The bucks of all 3 species grow antlers every year. In the spring they're in velvet. The antlers are softer and actually feel velvety. That's usually the best time to see bucks during the day. Bucks shed their antlers every winter, usually between the end of January and the middle of March. It's pretty general, and some of it depends on where in the country you live, but it's true for Washington and Oregon. Oregon and Washington are 2 states that have all 3 species of deer. Well, whitetail can be found all over the country, but mule deer are a species of the western states, and blacktail are found on the west coast in Alaska. We'll talk about whitetail first. Here's a nice picture of a whitetail doe with 2 fawns. I think this picture was taken in early June. Twins are pretty common, but predation often means that they're not always going to get to both be mature animals. I'm also going to show you a few pictures where the distinctive tail of the whitetail is visible. The whitetail's tail is a lot different than blacktail or mule deer. Also, I want you to pay particular attention to the white underbelly of these animals. Blacktail and mule deer both have darker underbellies. Whitetail bucks' antlers are distinctive in that their tines all come off the main beam. Here's a good example. Can you see both the bucks in this picture? Oh, there they are. There's 2 bucks in this picture. This area is kind of interesting to me because the previous year, and even earlier this spring, that these pictures were taken, all I ever saw here was mule deer, and the whitetail seemed to have pushed all the mule deer out. Okay, moving on to mule deer. A lot of times you'll find mule deer at higher elevations, and you'll find the whitetail deer down in the valley areas. That's a really loose generalization, and there's a lot of overlap in areas where both species live. These pictures show good examples of the tails with the black spot on the end and the darker underbellies compared to the whitetail that I showed you. Grandma and I saw this pretty large group of mule deer at the end of April moving back up into the hills. Here are a few pictures of some young mule deer bucks. These are a couple nice mature mule deer. As soon as their horns harden up, you won't see them during the day anymore. Beautiful bucks though. Last but not least, the blacktail deer. There's two different blacktail deers. The Sitka blacktail deer are the blacktail that are up in Alaska out of Southeast and Kodiak Island. Here are a couple of examples of the blacktail's tail. You can see it's a little fuller, more black. It's not just a spot on the end like the mule deer, but it is more similar to the mule deer, I guess. Here's an example of a blacktail deer shed. I do a video on just sheds, so you'll have more of an opportunity to see these again, but you can see on this picture that the tines don't all come off the main beam and they actually split. Here's a good example of a little blacktail buck in the spring. You can see its antlers are in velvet and its coat is a brighter color, almost a red. Blacktail and mule deer both have that bright color in the spring and summer, and then late summer into the fall, once their antlers get hardened up, their coats change colors and they tend to disappear. I hope you enjoyed this video. I was going to make it longer and show you deer sign and what to look for to find bucks, but I think deer identification is long enough. I've got another video on antler sheds that should be posted up already, and I hope you enjoy these videos. I'll do the deer sign video next, and thank you for watching.